Good morning, everybody. My name is Rodolfo Hernandez from Intercultural Programs at the University of Texas at Dallas. I have the honor, the privilege to welcome you to all of you for wherever you are. Good morning from Dallas, Texas. Good afternoon, good evening, late morning, early afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. Next slide, please. On behalf of Intercultural Programs at UT Dallas, we welcome you to this session, in particular for all these new international students who are going to join us in the spring 2024. We know that you have many choices, but ultimately you decide to come to UT Dallas as your final educational destination in the United States. And we highly appreciate that decision. And for that, we want to really ensure that you have what you need to really enhance a successful experience at the University of Texas at Dallas. We believe that for you to be successfully academically, you need to be successfully culturally. And that's the reason why we have this series of virtual info sessions to ensure that you have a smooth transition from your home community to the UT Dallas community. And today we have an amazing session in collaboration with the University Career Center. The title of this session is going to be Mapping Your Success, University Career Center's Resources for International Students. This is a new addition to the series of virtual info sessions for new international students in response to the demand and your interest to learn more about the Career Center and to be more strategic in terms of the resources that you can use to enhance your academic, professional, and personal success at the University of Texas at Dallas. We highly appreciate the partnership with the University Career Center. Um, the logistics of these events, you can see us, you can hear us, but we cannot see you, we cannot hear you. However, you will be able to submit questions in the box on the right side of your screen at the end of the presentation. It will be a question and answer column right there, and you will be able to type your comments, your questions, and we'll be here to the extent as possible to answer those questions to ensure that you have full access to information to be strategic in your decisions. This event is being recorded and will be posted within 48 business hours in the Intercultural Programs YouTube channel. Welcome to visit our International Student Orientation webpage. Certainly, where you will find the hyperlink to our YouTube channel. All right. So with that in mind, I will have the honor, my pleasure to introduce Julia Tokyo, who is the ambassador of the University Career Center this morning, presenting on behalf of this software. Julia, the microphone is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Rodolfo, for the introduction. Again, my name is Yulia Sobko. I'm Assistant Director of Experiential Programs here in the University Career Center. And also, I'm a former national student. I got my master's here in the US, and that's why I'm so passionate about working with international students and to help you succeed with your career journeys. Today, I will be talking about University Career Center's resources for international students, how to map your success career-wise. But also, the biggest takeaway that I wanted for you to have is that we are here for you, we are here to support you, and we are here to answer your any career-related questions to help you succeed with your professional development, your career development. Next slide, please. A little bit about us. On the left, you will see the picture of our team, the University Career Center. So we work with all majors, all schools. We work with students from all years, undergraduate, graduate student, but also we work with alumni. So even after you graduate, you still have access to see us. It's all free for you, and you will be able to still ask any questions that you might have. And we provide a variety of different resources. We are located in SSB Student Services Building on the 3rd floor, and we have both virtual and in-person appointments. Same with events. We have both virtual and in-person events. Next slide, please. This is just a quick overview of what kind of events, what kind of services we have. That's not a full list, so that's just the overview. So we have several teams in the University Career Center. The first team is career development. You will see it here on the slides. So career development has career consultants, and you can schedule appointments with career consultants. For example, if you need help with your major career exploration if you're not sure what do you want to do with your degree, or like if you're thinking about switching majors if you're undergrad. So different career counseling questions, this is something that we can help you with. But also we can help you with exploring yourself. For example, if you want to learn a little more about who you are as a person, as a professional, if you want to know more about your strength, your weaknesses, your values, this is what we can also help you with. You can take different career assessments through us, and we will help you understand and utilize that knowledge even in your interviews in the future. Also, we can help you with job and internship search. So, for example, if you have questions like how to search, where to search, how to apply, like how does the resume, how does it look, how does it have to look like, how to prepare for interviews, how to be successful in your job and internship search, this is something that we can help you as well. Also, of course, we review resumes and cover letters. This is the most popular appointment type with us. So before you submit applications for on-campus jobs, for internship or full-time jobs, it's always best to have your resume reviewed by a professional. So that's why we have career consultants here for you, and you can schedule an appointment to get feedback on your resume. And also we have some online AI resources for resumes as well. We also prepare you for interviews. We have interview prep appointments, but also we have mock interviews. It's always better to practice before your real interview, because interview is a skill. And the more you practice, the more you prepare, the more confident you feel. And especially in this competitive job market, when it comes to jobs, internships, it's extremely important to be prepared as you can be. That's why we have that resource for you as well. And you can also utilize us, for example, if you're undergrad and you're thinking about grad school, if you're thinking about master's or a PhD, this is something that we can help as well. So for example, if you want us to take a look at a personal statement, or if you want us to help you figure out what kind of degree, what kind of program would be a good fit for you, this is something that we're here as well. And career assessments. As I mentioned, it's always good to take those to understand a little more about who you are, what kind of personality you have, strengths, weaknesses. So this is something that we can help as well. Also, we have a student employment team. So student employment team, they facilitate all HR and all paperwork for student employees. So basically they act as HR for on-campus jobs. And we will have more workshops in the next semester to kind of give you more like best practices how to apply for on-campus positions. Also, we have an employee relations team, and this team, they work really hard to connect to employers. So they organize large career fairs. We have at least 3 career fairs every semester, and you will see that those are huge events, and those are really amazing opportunities to talk to employers, to practice your networking skills, communication skills, but also to understand a little more about the market and what kind of positions are there. So they organize career fairs, but also they organize smaller events like info sessions and other like tabling events. So for example, career fair is an amazing way to talk to employers, but this is not the only way. So for example, if you want to like attend info session and have like more connection to the employer, this is something that we can help you organize as well. And experiential learning team, this is my team, the team that I oversee. And we have different projects and different programming that we have. So for example, one of the biggest ones is our program Comet Track, which you will find on Handshake. It will be live on Handshake, and there are multiple different events like that. So what that is, that's basically employer site visit. So for example, 2 weeks ago, we went to Nokia together and we learned about different positions that are available in Nokia. And for spring semester, we already have several events planned. So that's also a really good way to visit employers, to hear from them, to see their headquarters or to see their labs, and to see what kind of opportunities they have. That's an amazing opportunity for students. But also we organize fun events like competitions, hackathons, case studies, challenges, so to help employers see you in action. So we invite employers, and for example, they submit a case challenge or they submit like a hackathon idea, and then you work on that on Teams, and then employer can see your results. And that's also a really good way to build your resume, because you can put that on your resume, but also to get connected to employers. And last but not least is events. So they help us with logistics and organizing of the events. So like, for example, again, some different seminars and workshops we host, a lot of those, usually more than 50 events every semester, like resume workshop, interview workshop, different sessions, for example, careers in tech panel discussions, where we invite also employers and UTD alumni. Also, we do career fairs, we do different tabling events, we do info sessions, we do employers at visits. We host a lot of events, like every semester it's definitely more than 50, I think even maybe more than 70 events every semester, and they are all on Handshake. So I definitely recommend taking advantage of those because those are very unique to our students. And if you're not a part of the university, general public doesn't have access to that. So I would recommend when you are here at UT Dallas to utilize those opportunities because they are truly amazing and they're really good for your resume building, but also for your professional development. All right, so that's kind of the overview. Next slide, please. So today I want to focus a little more on building skills, on marketing yourself, networking, addressing sponsorship questions, and resources for international students. Next slide, please. Starting early. This is something that I cannot highlight enough. That's extremely important to start really early, not in your final semester when you have 2 weeks before graduation. So definitely the first step would be visiting the University Career Center. We are here to help. So we will meet you where you're at, no matter what career questions you have, whether it's a resume or like if you need more like career advising or like if you need help with your interviews, we're here to help. So definitely utilize our services. Again, they're free for you and we want you to take advantage of those services. Learn more about US visa regulations and work authorization options. A lot of it is available on ISSO website of our National Student Services Office. So they list specifically what are the work authorization options for F1 students, J1 visa students, and what you can do when you're still in college, or what do you do, like what kind of options are there after graduation. And also be ready to clearly communicate your work eligibility to the employer, because this is something that you will need to do in your interviews and your application. So you will, for some employers, you will need to educate them how that is looking for you when it comes to employment. Next slide, please. Those are just screenshots from ISSO website. So as I said, we have specific sections for F1, J1 visa students. I think they also have other visa options. And basically what it talks about, it just shows you what are the different options for you when it comes to work authorizations. Definitely, I would suggest learning about that as early as you can, because this is something that you will need to have when you will be looking for positions. You need to understand what is your status so you don't violate any immigration rules and policies. Next slide, please. Building skills. So something that I see a lot, and before this role, I was working as a career consultant in the University Career Center, and I've met with hundreds of students, and hundreds of them were also international students. And something that I've noticed a lot, especially when students are doing a major or a program in something technical, like for example, computer science or like business analytics or information technology, a lot of times students, they really don't have any focus on other skills. And that's why I wanted to show you this research done by NACE, National Association of Colleges and Employers. And what they do, they survey employers and ask them questions, what employers are looking for, what kind of competencies are needed for students to be successful in their careers. And what they say is that most employers, they're looking for other skills as well, or like soft skills. So most employers, they are looking for problem-solving skills, ability to work in a team, strong work ethic, analytical skills, communication skills, leadership, detail-oriented, flexibility, adaptability, and others. And on the right, you will see the percentages, like how many employers responded that those are important. So that's why we recommend focusing on those as well, not just industry knowledge, not just technical skills, but also working on your soft skills. And for soft skills, there are multiple ways how to work on them. Of course, it's definitely meeting people and attending events, attending ICP events. Those are really great for networking, for developing your intercultural competency, and also like working in a team. Those could be student jobs, those could be internships, could be projects, could be volunteering, could be like leadership in student organizations. There are a lot of ways how to build those, but I definitely want you to understand that employers, they don't only look at your technical skills, they're looking at other skills as well. Plus, even you have really strong technical skills, but if you're not able to communicate those, you will not be successful in interviews. That's why we want you to understand that early and to be prepared for that, because this is something that will come up in the future in the interviews. Next slide, please. Marketing ourselves. That's also a very big topic, and I wanted to touch on that briefly, but of course, that's more one-on-one basis. So that's why this is something that I would also suggest talking to career consultants to discuss your unique case, how to market yourself. But definitely what employers value, they also value experiences. So those are internships, paid or unpaid. And what I wanted to highlight, before you start doing any internships, you need to make sure that you don't violate your status. That's extremely important. And when it comes to visa questions, we have ISSO office that helps you with understanding your status, asking your like visa related questions, immigration related questions. So that's something that I see a lot. The students feel like if the internship is not paid, then they can do it. Not necessarily. That's why we definitely recommend you talking to ISSO and making sure that you are eligible to do internships before you engage in any type of work, because violated status is something that you definitely don't want to do, not to impact your future immigration, or like not to impact your status. This is why definitely keep that in mind, that you will need to make sure that you are actually eligible for internships, even if they are not paid. The next one over here would be full-time roles, part-time roles. Maybe in the past, if you're coming with some work experiences, that's definitely something that you can utilize on your resume, in your interview. Even if it was not local experience, it's still experience, still matters. So you need to learn how do you articulate those skills and those experiences from the past to bring those to your future employers. Student employment, again, if you're eligible, if this is something that your visa status permits, usually they don't start with the first semester, because first semester is like more for adapting to the new environment. But for example, I see many students who do on-campus jobs from their second year or like second semester. And this is something that can also help you build skills, because even if position is not related to your degree, still you're learning other skills. You're learning communication skills, problem solving skills, teamwork, and others, which you can also highlight on your resume, and you can utilize that also in your interviews in the future. Academic and personal projects, that's huge, especially for students that don't have work experience just yet. Having projects is really important, and this is what I've heard from multiple employers in the past, is when employers are saying if student doesn't have work experience, then projects is really big. So it could be something that you do in class, or it could be something personal, but definitely we will want to have that on your resumes and make sure that you know how to talk about those, and this is something that we can help you with as well. Relevant degree, classes, certifications. That's another way to boost your profile, to be more competitive as well. Involvement in student organizations. This is something that I've also heard from employers. And employers are saying that they like seeing students who are well-rounded, who are participating in different activities, that have leadership roles. For example, if you create a club on campus, or if you like a part of the club and you have a leadership position, if you help grow it, those are really amazing skills. So that's why I would definitely consider joining student organizations or creating your own club, something that will be relevant to your major and something that you can utilize for your future career development as well. And the next one over here would be volunteering. But again, I want to make sure that you don't engage in any activities before you make sure that you are eligible to do so. Because even volunteering, it might be, this might also violate your status. That's why before you engage in any type of work, even unpaid, we want to make sure that you talk to ISSO and you make sure that you are actually eligible to do that. Skills and knowledge. Employers are also looking for industry knowledge. So that's why it's really great to talk to employers, to do common tracks, employer site visits, to attend info sessions. So you gain more understanding of the industry, not just the specific position that you are hoping to get. Also, what they value, you speaking different languages, regional expertise, cultural awareness, global perspective, diversity, cross-cultural communication, global awareness. Those are really great skills and competencies that you can leverage as an international student, because this is something that helps you stand out. So that's why we want you to make sure that you can articulate that and making sure that you're utilizing that in your professional development. Skills like adaptability, flexibility, resilience, resourcefulness, those are really big, especially with international students, because to be able to study in the US, you have to go through a lot of steps, and a lot of times those are really challenging. So that's why you can utilize that experience to show employers that you are adaptable, that you are resourceful, and that you are flexible, and you're ready for change. So that's definitely something that you can leverage. So on work ethic, motivation, problem solving, and the last one over here that I have would be readiness to relocate anywhere in the US. So when you will be looking for full-time opportunities, you are not only limited to Dallas, Texas, but many of you will be able to look for positions in other places as well. All right, let's move to the next slide. Internship search. So I know it might be still early to search for internships if you're not here yet, but I wanted to still show you how would you go about it. So when you are ready, when you are eligible for internships, you can utilize Handshake, our career platform, to search for internships. You will all have access to Handshake. You don't have to create an account. You just need to log in with your NetID and password. This is something that you will utilize a lot, because Handshake, it doesn't only have job board, internship boards, but also this is where we post our events. If you want to attend career events like career fairs or like info sessions, this is what you will utilize as well. So to search for internships using Handshake, you will just log in with your NetID and password, and you can utilize the job boards on Handshake to search for internships, full-time jobs, or on-campus jobs. They're also posted there. And you can utilize different filters to see like what kind of positions are there for you that will work for your professional development. And also you can utilize other resources as well, like Indeed, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, other platforms. Handshake is very tailored to students, and you will definitely need it because this is what you will need for like career events. But when it comes to searching for internships and jobs, you can also, of course, utilize our resources like I mentioned, Indeed, Glassdoor, and LinkedIn. Those are really great as well. Next slide, please. And that's just a screenshot how the Handshake job board looks. So this is just like one of the positions. So you will see a bunch of filters. You can filter by major, you can filter by fields, you can filter by, like, you can search for keywords. And you can, a lot of times you can either apply online using Handshake or apply externally. But this is how you will search for those opportunities. Next slide, please. Working on campus, definitely something that I would consider for the future semesters. It's not very common for students to start working on campus from their first semester because the first semester should be about making sure that you are acclimated to campus, that you are ready to engage in work. So usually the first semester is not very common for students to start working on campus, but starting your like second semester or like the second year, those are really great opportunities for you to build your skills because you can learn skills like communication skills, problem solving skills, teamwork, and others, but also those are networking opportunities, meeting new people, experience work in professional environment in the US, integration to campus life. That's a good resume enhancement and personal growth. So again, something to consider for the future, and we can definitely help you with that. So like if you, before you submit applications for on-campus jobs, definitely have your resume reviewed. Because for example, in the past, like this September, I was hiring a student worker for my team. I needed help with like data collection, data viz. So when I was hiring, I've noticed that I got a lot of applications really fast, but 80% of the applications, when I look at the resumes, a resume doesn't really tell me that a person will be a good fit because the skills are different. And so the biggest would be, it's not about you having all the skills, but it's you being a good fit for a position. So that's why before you apply for on-campus jobs in the future, make sure that you do review your resume with a career consultant, and also you can prepare for interviews using our help as well. So definitely something to consider for future semesters. Next slide, please. And this is how you will search for them. So you go to Handshake, you click jobs, and there's a filter on campus. This is where you will see those on-campus jobs opportunities. And this is how you can see what kind of requirements they have, what are the responsibilities, and how to apply. Next slide, please. Networking tips. This is something that I see a lot when international students, they come from different cultural backgrounds, and for many, networking is really intimidating. And I can totally understand that because in my home country, networking isn't big as well. So for some students, especially if you're introverts like me, it might be really challenging. So that's why we have a bunch of advice for you. And like, if you schedule an appointment with us, we can also talk about that in more detail. But how to develop those networking skills and how to network more effectively. Definitely attend UCC events, career fairs, panel discussions with employers, networking events, common tracks, hackathons, competitions, tabling, and others. Those are really great ways to network, and those are also natural ways to network. Because, for example, if you attend a common track, you are meeting other students, you are meeting employers, and this is something that really happens naturally and it's not as intimidating. But also we suggest and we recommend utilizing other services and other departments events. For example, ICP, they host a lot of really great events, and those are really amazing to meet other students, especially like when you meet other national students, they might share their internship experience. They might tell you, like, for example, I interned in this company last semester and it was really great, and if they can share their resume advice, interview advice. So attending events is definitely an amazing way to network, but also attending industry specific events, different conferences, summits, and stuff like that. Working with alumni, you can find alumni using LinkedIn. If you go to LinkedIn and in the search bar type UTD, and you will see the alumni button where you can search by company, you can search by title. So this is how you can also utilize that to when you're looking for positions, or if you just want to have informational interviews and to learn more about different professions. Connect with professionals via LinkedIn. So that's another one that you can do. Again, connecting with them, talking to them, doing informational interviews. Informational interview is basically a career conversation where you're asking questions about their work. So it's not a job interview. It's more like conversation where you're asking, so like, can you tell me more about your industry? Can you tell me more about how your day looks like? What are the challenges? What are the benefits? What are the like, what kind of advice do you have for entry level people? So those are really good to learn more, but also to build those connections for the future. Joining UTD organizations and clubs, that's also an amazing way to meet new people and to grow professionally. Joining national professional affiliations, that's something that you can do, especially if you search for affiliations and student orgs nationally to see like the ones that are connected to your majors and your fields. Volunteering, if again your visa status permits, engaging in study groups, online communities, being open and approachable. That's kind of like the biggest advice over here, like being really open to different opportunities for you, and also following up and staying in touch with people that you've met, for example, using LinkedIn. Next slide, please. I just wanted to give you like a short template. Again, you don't have to utilize specifically this one. I just wanted to give you something. Feel free to take a screenshot, but also if you schedule an appointment with a career consultant, we can help you like work on your own. So that's just something that I wanted to show you to see, so you learn a little more about professional communication in the US. How do we write professional emails, and how do we reach out to people? What kind of language are we using, and how to work on those requests. Informational interviews are really helpful. That's something that I did in the past a lot, and that's something that I did before I got this position of assistant director. I talked to people in similar positions in other universities to learn more about their jobs, their projects, and like what I can do to grow programs like that here at UTD. So informational interviews are extremely helpful when it comes to your professional development. Next slide, please. Revealing your immigration status to U.S. employers. So I would say that students, they make decisions based on their own preferences on how they want to approach it. So some students, they want to like discuss it as early as possible. Some students wait for the interview to do it. So something that we do recommend, we want you to be honest. Don't lie on your application materials, don't lie on your application itself, because in many cases, if employer is not open to sponsoring international students visas or not open to hire international students, they will not be open to hiring you. And in this case, you're just like, you're taking their time, but also you can be blacklisted in the organizations if you are not truthful about it. So that's why we want you to be honest and make sure that you discuss this question before you accept the offer, because we've heard stories when students didn't discuss it, they accepted the offer, and then only then they told them, actually, I'm an international student. And then it didn't work out and the offer was canceled. So basically, we want you, the biggest that we want you to take away is that we want you to be honest when it comes to revealing your immigration status and making sure that that it is discussed like before you submit, before you accept the offer. Best if you discuss it like in the interview phases. And also making sure that it's on your application when they're asking you about work authorization, that you are honest about it. Next slide, please. Backup plan. So I know it might be early to think about it, but it's still really good to have a backup plan in mind, or having a backup plan for a backup plan. So exploring other immigration options like different visas like O1, L1, thinking about CAP exempt employers for H-1B, thinking about national interest waiver, green cards. So there are other options, and that's why we want you to explore other immigration options. Relocation to international offices, this is something that I've seen a lot as well. For example, students, they do internship here and then they work on OPT here, and then they get transferred to an office somewhere like in Canada or like in Europe or any other country. So that's something that is an option for many international students as well, and opportunities in your home countries and abroad. So we also have InnerStride available for you, and you can utilize that to learn more about different options. Next slide, please. Resources. So I would suggest making a screenshot or taking a picture of this slide, because you will utilize that a lot. We recommend utilizing that a lot. So the first resource that we have is InnerStride. Again, you log in with your NetID and password to be able to access that. So InnerStride is an amazing resource. It's one of the best in the market. So what it is, it's created by international students for international students. And what it does, the biggest helpful tip that it has, let me put the link in chat to a resources page. You can see historical data. You can see historical data on employers that hired international students in the past, sponsored H-1B visas, or hired students for CPT, OPT. So that's definitely really helpful to see what employers are open to hiring international students. But also InnerStride has resources for job search abroad. So again, this is the best one. Definitely utilize InnerStride. It's extremely helpful. But also we help with resumes and cover letters. You can schedule appointments with us to review those. Also, we have career resource library on our website. Let me drop the link in chat. So this is where you can find the guides that we develop for you. So we have guides on resumes, job search, interviews, networking, a lot of those. Those are available in both videos and in PDF. So that's something that we can do as well. We can help you with that using those guides. And also we have the resource called Quincia, which is the resource for students to get AI feedback on resumes and their application materials, but also you will get AI feedback on interviews. Also, we have events. Those are on Handshake, so that's definitely helpful to attend. And other resources that are not UTD specific, but something that could be helpful, My Visa Jobs, Student Exchange Visitor Program data, ICE.gov, H-1B Employer Data Hub. Those would be really good to utilize as well in your job search. Next slide, please. Just a screenshot from InnoStride. Again, this is a website where you can find historical data on employers that are open to international students, open to hire international students. So on the left, you will see the filters, for example, to find top 500 H-1B sponsors. And also on the right over here, you will see, for example, Amazon, they sponsored thousands of students in the past. And you will be able to see what positions they sponsored in the past. So that's really helpful when it comes to job search. Next slide, please. Our library does the QR codes, but also we will have a link in Q&A session. So again, this library has a lot of guides like interviews, job search, resumes, and others. Next slide, please. Final tip, stay positive and be persistent. You will get rejections. Rejections is a part of the process, unfortunately. This is what everyone goes through. So we want you to understand that we are here to help and also be positive and be persistent, because job search, internship search is always hard. But again, we are here to help. We are here to support you in this journey. So definitely something to keep in mind and to understand that to be able to map your successful journey in the US. Next slide, please. Also, you will have access to us on e-learning. On e-learning, you can search for organizations, and this is where you can find the Career Center, University Career Center. And over there, we also have a bunch of resources, videos, guides, and other resources for you to utilize. So that's another way to engage with us. Next slide, please. And UCC social media. Definitely follow us on Instagram, on LinkedIn. This is where we post our events, but also this is the best way to stay in touch as well, to make sure that you attend the events that we host and you are familiar with those. So feel free to scan those or take a picture, but also we will put the links in Q&A session. Next slide, please. How to make an appointment. So you will need to utilize Handshake for that. So when you go to Handshake, on the right, you will see Career Center, and you can click Appointments and schedule an appointment. You can select UCC, University Career Center, and to schedule an appointment with us. Next slide, please. Q&A time. Time for questions. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Going to proceed and open the Q&A for everybody. And in the meantime, certainly with the support of Ruchikesh Campbell, who is a student worker at Intercultural Programs, who is providing technical support. Thank you, Ruchikesh. He will be publishing some relevant hyperlinks that Julia has mentioned during the presentation, and in that case will be handy information for all the attendees. But please, welcome to publish your questions, to write your questions, observations, comments, and we'll be able to react and to provide guidance, and especially Julia, to be able to provide that expertise, to share that expertise in terms of the Career Center and how to help international students to enhance their academic, professional, and personal success at UT Dallas. Thank you, Rishikesh, for publishing all these links.
Yes, thank you. Any questions?
Hey, Julia, I have one of the, if you allowed me while we're waiting for the questions from the students, one of the frequent questions or expectations, let me put it that way, from new international students is that they may start finding or looking or even working right away after arrival to the UT Dallas campus. In other words, that they will be able to have a campus job from the very first semester of their academic programs at UT Dallas. And we explained to them that that is not realistic. But could you please share about that from your perspectives, the Career Center's experience answering precisely this question, this expectation to international students?
Yeah, that's definitely a great question. So something to keep in mind to have realistic expectations. On-campus jobs, they're not guaranteed because we have thousands and thousands, I think 31,000 of students on campus, but we don't have 31,000 jobs. So the on-campus jobs, they are competitive. That's why we recommend to have like realistic expectations that I would not say that it's common for international students to get on campus job the first semester. Usually the first semester is to help you like get acclimated to campus, to be prepared, to start like building connections, to like get used to the study because studying is different here from many countries, at least it was for me. It's definitely very it might be hard, it's definitely time consuming. So that's why I would say that it's not as common to get and have on-campus jobs right away after arrival. Usually students, they start working like starting their second semester or their second year here at UTD. Some students, they start the first semester, but again, I just want to highlight that first semester should be more about you getting ready and you getting acclimated to campus and to the US in general. But also that the jobs are competitive, they're not guaranteed. To be more successful and more competitive for those jobs, of course, you can utilize us. You can schedule appointments to review your resume so we can help you tailor those, or like doing the interview prep appointments, mock interviews to be more successful. But at the same time, again, I want all international students and all students in general know that those are not guaranteed and those are very, very competitive just because we are a very big campus with a big enrollment of students.
Thank you, Julia. This is really helpful and really to ensure that new international students have a realistic perspective of the option circumstances and for them to be strategic for the first and certainly for the rest of the academic semester, for the first semester and the rest of the academic programs at UT Dallas. Thank you. You're welcome to select some of the questions, Julia.
Oh yeah, see, there are new positions. Okay, RATA positions posted on Handshake. As far as I know, they're not. That usually is done by departments. So different. I would suggest talking to your academic school about like where those are posted or how the hiring is happening, and those are also usually not from the first semester. So what I see is usually RATA positions, they start in like second semester, second year. But yeah, the I would suggest consulting with your academic programs when it comes to RATA positions on campus. Handshake has like other departments like positions, like for example, like front desk workers, or like for example, in this September I hired a data student worker for my team, or for example, we have marketing student assistants in our department. So usually those are other departments, not academic departments. But some academic departments do post positions on Handshake, just not assistantships, not research assistants, not teaching assistants. When we log into Handshake, it advises that we need the university to approve the resume. Can you please tell us more about it? So approval of the resumes, approval only happens if you are a JSOM student. So the University Career Center, we don't approve or we don't decline resumes. So if you are a JSOM student, you will need to also talk to them about it to ask that question. But yes, this is what this is what JSOM students, they go through that step, making sure that your resume is good to go and that you're ready to apply for positions. But in the University Career Center, we don't decline or approve resumes on Handshake. Major difference between TA and GA. So TA is teaching assistantship, teaching assistant, the student who helps a teacher with teaching duties, with grading and stuff like that. GA is graduate assistant. For example, when I did my master's, I had a GA and I was working in academic advising and career center. So that was like more admin duties. Yeah, but for example, there is also RA, which is research assistant, helping professors with their research duties. Master students get it simple. No, not simple at all. Those are very, very competitive. I feel like even more competitive than other on-campus jobs.
In that respect, Julia, for teaching and research assistantships, in most cases, they are for most academic programs, they are allocated for doctoral programs,
Yeah,
for
PhD
doctoral
students.
students. So, which implies that to echo Julia's observation in terms of how competitive they could be in place for anybody to apply and obtain one of these positions. But certainly, there are some very competitive master students that may have a graduate assistantship, and you're welcome to consider and to apply based on the specific criteria of the specific academic program in which you are applying for these positions.
Yes, that's a good no. Those are very competitive. Yeah, but I do know master students who have them. It's
Yes.
just you need to work with your academic schools when it comes to TA positions, RA positions, and stuff like that.
Any other questions? Let's take advantage that we have Julia Sopko right here with us to be able to obtain guidance and specific expertise from the Career Center. Please, you're welcome to publish your comments, your questions, and we'll be happy to follow up with you.
Another one. Do we need an appointment to meet people for career support? Yes, you will need to schedule an appointment to meet with a career consultant. For example, if you need like resume review or interview preparation appointments, yes, you can schedule all appointments using Handshake. We do have some drop-in hours, but usually it's best to schedule an appointment with us to see us.
I'm just published the webpage of UT Dallas Handshake, through which you can set up your appointment with the Career Center staff. Julia, from your perspective, what would be the three best tips, the three best recommendations, practices that you may share to a new international student to enhance, individual, professional, and personal success on campus?
That's a very good question. Be involved. And I know it sounds broad, but this is what I mean by that. Be involved. Get involved as much as you can. Because I know it might be hard, especially if this is your first long-term trip abroad. You might be homesick, you might miss your family, your friends, your loved ones, and you might have cultural shock, you might be lonely, and it might be really hard. Being a international student is definitely not easy. For some students it's easier, for some students it's harder, but I would say that it's not easy. And by being involved, you're meeting new people, and basically it also helps your mental health as well, because you're talking to other students and you have like more fun activities. So I definitely don't recommend just like staying in your apartment room and not attending anything, just going to classes, because it will be really hard on you. So that's why I would suggest meeting new people, getting involved, student organizations, like friendships, of course, UTD events, professional events. That's why we host more than 50 or 70 events every semester. We have like info sessions with employers, we have seminars, we have career fairs, we have employer site visits, common tracks. But also and I'm only talking about our one department, but you will see that we have lots of departments, and you will see the common calendar. So for example, ICP, they host a lot of really great events which are really awesome to get connected to other national students, and but also discuss really important topics. There are other departments, like for example multicultural center, or for example other departments like department of volunteerism, or like, so there are so many departments that host events, and that's an amazing way for you to get involved, but also meeting new people, but also like student organizations, projects, stuff like that. So I would always recommend getting most out of your time here, trying to like meet new people, talking to employers, and but also having fun. That's a part of the journey. Like, we do want you to have fun. We do want you to enjoy your time here. So it's not only sitting home and doing your homework. We do want you to enjoy your time here. You're a student, and definitely it comes with a lot of fun activities as well.
So Julia, be involved with you, the UT Dallas community, have fun. What will be the third recommendation, the final one?
I would say just try and it kind of like it encompasses all of it, but trying to get most out of your time here. And it just means being open to opportunities, being open to new people, being open to events and stuff like that. So trying to really get most out of this experience.
To be open and flexible. That's a great one. I think this is really very holistic recommendations. Julia, thank you. Be involved with the UT Dallas community, to have fun, to ensure that you have the balance between your academic responsibilities and to enjoy the occasion, the experience, the journey. The more we have fun, the more we can be learning in a more effective way. And certainly flexibility is a key element in terms of being exposed to new knowledge, to new cultures, to new practices. Thank you very much, Julia. I will take the opportunity to publish right here the web page of intercultural programs. Precisely as Julia has mentioned, we have a very solid portfolio of events and programs for international students. Throughout the whole year, you will find many opportunities and certainly facilitating the engagement precisely with the UT Dallas community, with domestic students, with faculty and staff, and for international students to have access to resources to enhance that academic, personal, and cultural success. For this spring semester, we are getting ready to have 2 cultural trips for new international students, for in general, for international students. And one of them is going to be basically during the spring break, and visiting the Kimball Art Museum in Fort Worth, which is a great piece of architecture. The building itself, the museum itself, with a great fine collection, art collection right there. And the other cultural trip is going to be a Broadway musical, Annie at the Opera House. During that spring break. So please be in touch with Intercultural Programs. You will be receiving the weekly newsletter, Events on Campus, which is published every Monday at 9 o'clock via email, where we'll be announcing all these programs and events for all of you, and to ensure that you have access to these opportunities, because in most cases are free programs, fair events, including the cultural trips. Do we have any other questions? I don't think so. I would like to mention right here that this session has been recorded and will be published within the next 48 business hours, and will be available in the Intercultural Programs YouTube channel. The hyperlink for the YouTube channel for Intercultural Programs is published in the webpage of the International Student Orientation, which is basically this one that I will publish right here now. Julia, thank you so much for this session. It was really holistic in terms of the portfolio of the career center to ensure that new international students have a complete understanding of what you're doing for them and how they can reach out to ensure that in advance they can be strategic for that a professional, personal, and certainly academic success. I'm going to provide the screen back to you, Julia, for your final remarks for the audience.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And again, the biggest takeaway, if there is only one takeaway that you'll have from this session, is that we are here to help. This is what we're here for. And you don't have to memorize all the teams that we have. You don't have to memorize all the events we have, all the services we have. But I want you to remember that we are here, and you can always utilize University Career Center to schedule appointments, to attend our events, because we do a lot of really cool programming and a lot of ways for you to build your careers. And of course, please do start early. The earlier you start, the better, because you never know which connections would be helpful. And also, like when it comes to career development, like resumes, job search, interview prep, the earlier you start, the more confident, more prepared you will be, because job search is hard. Like I don't want you to have like expectations that it's easy, it will be handed to you. No, that's not true. But on the other hand, we are here to support you. So that's why, like, any questions you might have, you can schedule an appointment with us. We will be happy to assist. If you want to ask questions about your own like career development, or if you want to ask questions about what we can do to help, you can always reach out to us, schedule an appointment using Handshake. Make sure you select University Career Center on Handshake to schedule an appointment with one of our career consultants. And if you have like specific questions for me, you can also find my information on the University Career Center website. Again, my name is Yulia Spko. I'm AD of Experiential Programs. So I specifically work with experiential learning, things like employer site visits, hackathons, common tracks, competitions, and things like that. We are really excited to have you all, and I hope you all have amazing journeys. And again, we are here to support you. Thank you so much for joining the session today.
Thank you very much, Julia. In that respect, I would like to remember everybody that Julia will join us in the in-person International Student Orientation for Spring 2024. They will be presenting relevant information during the International Student Orientation on December the 20th, January the 9th, January the 10th, and certainly having direct access, personal access to the Career Center staff personnel, in particular Julia in this case. So on behalf of Intercultural Programs, thank you University Career Center, thank you Julia, and thank you everybody for attending this session. We'll be in touch for the next virtual info session in the next few days. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Ruchikesh Kumbar, for your technical support as well.